The Forgotten King has returned. Once a sorcerer pharaoh whose reign was so vile his name was erased from Egyptian history, the Forgotten King pursues a sinister agenda, gathering mystical artifacts from around the world for some unknown purpose. Every soldier sent to stop him is killed and reanimated into the undead zombie that is under the Forgotten King's command. Worried the Forgotten King's reign of terror will not be able to be stopped, the military enlists the help of monster hunter Declan Van Helsing. Seeing no other option, Declan goes against the Van Helsing's family's wishes and opens Tomb 13, freeing the world's most powerful vampire, Count Dracula. His rationale: it may take a monster to bring down a monster. And thus, Operation Monster Force is formed. Under Dracula's direction, a unique vampire strike unit is called Delta 17. Delta Red. Sorry about that. I've had a whiskey or two, one too many at JOEFEST. That, my friends, is the premise of Operation Monster Force, courtesy of Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop. And for you today, I have a comparison between the Blood Prince, Dracula, and the Omen of Doom, the Forgotten King, a pair of translucent exclusives courtesy of Fresh Monkey at JOEFEST. Retail versions of these two exclusives will ship out in August in packaging. Let's break them down one by one, and then we shall compare, contrast, and all that fine dandy crap. First up, we got the Blood Prince, Dracula. Along with Declan, it seems like he's one of the protagonists of Operation Monster Force. Obviously, we're going to have some issues with Van Helsing and Dracula, but it's a cool premise. It's about to be a very good year for good guy Dracula. I mean, even Marvel Legend revealed the Blood Hunt Dracula in that last fan stream, which I think was the hit of that wave. But here, the jury is still out on this Dracula, and I got comparison shots, as you can see on the left, because this Dracula is translucent. This isn't going to be the easiest review, but it just gives you a good idea what Fresh Monkey and Big Bad Workshop are up to with Operation Monster Force, and we can kind of go over the 20-plus points of articulation and all that fun stuff. So we got our butterfly joints there, our double elbows. I didn't have any issues messing around with this, so that's good. Hand swaps come right out. No wrist swivel on this guy. Let's see, does he have a... Does have a arm, tricep swivel there. And we got our T-pose. Instantly does a full Jean-Claude swip. We got drop down hips there, so can kick with the best of them. Dracula's going to be kicking some butt in your Operation Monster Force collection. So straight ahead, kicks across. Of course, we have our double pinless. Got a cab swivel. Got a boot rocker. Goes up and down. So no toe articulation or anything like that. I'm not a super fan. I know Ultimate WWE has those, and it's not always the greatest. A lot of times these joints aren't the same color, and they are slightly different, as you can see, but man, just about close. Not completely translucent like the rest on the elbow. And the same goes for the knee. Sorry about the glare, but this is a translucent toy, so unless you got some, you could see the detail there. You get that scratchy detail on the leg. It's a good look at his diaper. And you got all that detail on the torso. This has got like a super... I think this whole figure is pretty much a PVC. I'm not exactly sure, but this is definitely a PVC, and it's super awesome because it allows all the articulation. It'll be interesting to see how the retail Dracula pairs up and compares. That would have been the better review than reviewing two translucent toys, but we make with what we got, and there's some hair definition there. Hopefully I can give you guys an idea of what's to come in the future. And then comparing the two sculpts. You've got black paint on the eyes. I think it's the only paint on the entire figure. And of course, the Forgotten King has white in the eyes. We'll show later. This sculpt's obviously probably better
because it's got the fangs, as you could see, the open mouth. But this one does have a nice clean cut beard. He's definitely the Count's definitely a goodie there with slick back hair. The hair seems to be similar. Let's check the back here. Yeah, we've got the same hairdo. Just a little profile picture, just kind of got a more menacing grimace with the teeth. And then there's a look at his dress coat. So it'll be fun to get the fully painted fig. We got our hand comparisons. He's got these, fright in the night kind of claws, and then trigger finger hands, which is very interesting. And then just your, mic holding hands in case he's got to announce Gangrel down the aisle. And here we see the Dracula going to work with a gridiron gun. And guess who's doing the guns for Fresh Monkey? It's Gridiron, so that's cool. So yeah, posability is really fun. It's got all these different hands. The retail version will have 4 pair of hands. So we got 3 here in the exclusive. Gun not included. But maybe the funkiest thing about this Dracula is the neck peg. It's going to be real loose when you articulate it, because the whole neck pops out. So you could see this whole front part of the coat wants to pop out. So it's an interesting choice. I don't know if it's just in the translucent version. Yeah, if you could see that, that's what you got to do. You got to put the neck all the way down. Usually I love when you can do interchangeable necks, but for this, it's a very interesting choice. You could see the ball joint there. Flip heads. Doesn't really snap, but I don't like when things go on but don't snap. Maybe it's because of all that translucent plastic. But there's a look at his grimacing head, and you can see you got the head tilt, and see when you tilt down, it pops the neck off. So that's my biggest issue with this figure. And then it doesn't tilt the head up. See, and then you got to kind of find the articulation there. Does tilt down, does look to the side, but see how that worked out? Pops off. So give you a good look at that. Pretty cool. You could see all the inner workings of an action figure there. Behind the blood, so to speak. You get the dragon handle on the sword. Looks really nice. There's some more detail with some spikes there. Really neat, really cool. It's a good plastic. It's not ultra flimsy like some of the stuff we were getting classified. But it's not gonna hurt children or anything like that. It's pretty loose, so that's good. These are toys. And lastly, we got our translucent blood stand, so that's always neat. I think I echo Punk's sentiments where I'm not a massive fan of figure stands and all that stuff, but when it's blood, it's blood. Now, how does it compare to the Mask of Red Deaths, right? So not translucent. As you can see, the translucent quality there. I thought this thing had more detail than it did, and it has a little more of the drips to make it look blood, while this is just kind of like a large oval. But, I'm okay with this. I guess a little more detail to make it look bloody, as opposed to just being a round oval. Would have been cool, but it does the trick. This does have several peg stands. This only has one, so I do have a slight issue with that, but it does. Put the peg right there, and you can sit him there, and stands fairly well. Looks like I have a paint chip or something like that on there, which is interesting, right on the corner. It's almost impossible to see since it's translucent, so no big deal. Figured I'd show. I'm not sure if it's like that on a lot of them, but it feels like a chip. Figure comparisons, we got Dracula from Fresh Monkey against the Four Horsemen figure obscure Mask of Red Death. Battle of the Blood Pools. I knew everybody would ask, so here's the scale with Operation Monster Force and G.I. Joe Classified. Nearly 1-to-1. Dracula is probably a ½ inch to an inch taller than his blood companion there, Major Blood. And then you got the crazy Range Viper on the left. And ever so predictable, it's Eric. And the count, of course, you get the vampire and a vampire slayer.
And his opponent
is the Omen of Doom, the Forgotten King. This guy's a lot of fun. I really dig him. Dracula's super cool too. So if you thought I forgot, no, the whiskeys are coming at the end of the video. But check it out. This dude right here, Forgotten King, reanimates the same soldier sent to kill him and adds them to his Apophis Legion ranks. Just wild. All right, here's a look at the Forgotten King with the detail. I got you there, huh? He glows in the dark, so super cool. The Blood King does not, of course, red translucent. I don't know if that could ever glow. If someone could make red translucent glow, that'd be cool. But as you can see, there's a spot here that's not glowing, but, you know, maybe got to use a little more light, UV ray or something like that. But this is kind of how he looks glowing, man. Now here, check out his detail. He's got white paint for eyes, really cool. I super dig this guy. It's well thought out. Comparing the two, King has a different breasted type jacket than our dude Dracula, so kind of giving you a close-up side by side. It's going to be super difficult to really know what's up. On the diaper, do we have the same diaper? Man, this is, this is a difficult review to do. I don't know. Knee-wise, see, boots, looks like we got the same boots on there, the same detail on the bottom. And we absolutely have the same trench coat overlay there. And if I'm wrong about that, cool. Let's check out the detail here. It looks the same to me. Yeah, it's the same as far as the overall jacket. Yeah, I think we get the jacket the same, but underneath it's different. You can see the tie and the way that's cut. This is more of a V-neck, and he's got a handkerchief wrapped around his neck instead. He's a little more Johnny Cash. Looks like the same. And then on the back, you got those backpack pegs there. We don't have any backpacks come with them. Yeah, it looks like we get the same. Do we have a... Oh, this is a little different cut in the back. Let's bring it up to detail there. Yeah, it looks close. Looks awfully close to me. Yeah, I'm just going to say it's the same. It's harder to check the detail on the glowy guy, right? And there you go. You got Operation Monster Kit Bash here. So the head does pop off. And well, that looks pretty cool, right? I mean, that looks neat. That probably doesn't make any sense to anybody, but I dig it. Here's how his neck ball joint looks right there. It's a lot more clear than the kind of greenish tone you got. So we'll pop that back on. There we go. And give you an idea of the detail. I love the detail of this character, kind of an Egyptian god that's been forgotten, of course. So actually, if you hold on to the neck, it does tilt up, and he's got a good tilt up. So I probably messed up. Let's see. No, because of the hair, he doesn't look up. The whole neck comes out. But even with this Pharaoh helmet, he looks up pretty great. So then you got head tilt. Yeah, the articulation's spectacular on this guy. But otherwise, we're going to get the same exact articulation that I ran through with Drac. And this Forgotten King comes with a lot of accessories. 4 pairs of hands. He's going to have 10 hands. 5 pairs in the retail version. When you can see that staff, we'll take a look into magic effects and, of course, the stand. So overall, the Forgotten King's definitely worth 40 more than Dracula just based on the accessories alone. Close-up look at this staff. Man, that is awesome. See if we can get a good look in there. Some, looks like pharaoh faces or something like that. But you get that cool skull. It's got some nice... I don't know if that's like a yeah, it's not translucent, is it? It's like a silvery paint there. So we do have another paint scheme. See if I can get a good look at that. So yeah, that's also a skull with like the pharaoh headdress, if you will. And then it's got almost like a serpent, and you get all these crystals. But man, this thing is awesome. And that pops off. It's a separate piece. And then you get the blade on this side. The retail version will have 2 blades, so you can have a double-bladed weapon. And that pops right off. It'll be fun to see maybe the translucent blade on top of the retail weapon just to give it maybe some kind of effect, but you've got all kind of detail there. So really well done on this weapon. We'll compare that to the sword. The sword is definitely simpler, although the handle is really nice. And the detail of the dragon. But these are some really good looking weapons, so at least for translucent, pretty awesome. And for the mumbo jumbo effects, you just pop off the hands very easily, snap on those magic ones or whatever hands you wish, but it makes far more sense to have these, of course, these majestic hands, and you can see all the like bubbling detail, these blades. So very Spectrum-esque compared to Doctor Strange, which reminds me, I don't have the astral plane Doctor Strange. Would have been a dope comparison. Lastly, you got this tombstone, gravestand, whatever, Operation Monster Force logo. Really cool there. And we got him on the stand. I much prefer it as almost like an actual grave dio piece, but because of the two pegs, he stands on it better than Drac does on the pool of blood. So really cool, even in the background, just translucent. This is a nice piece. Shout out to Mark II Design, Mark Gerwig, for coming up with the look of this incredible gravestone. And then we got a comparison with Mole Rat and Forgotten King. Our last comparison, we got the Forgotten King with Demistros from Four Horsemen. I always thought Homeboy glowed in the dark, but it's just a translucent head? Or does mine just not glow? Anyway, it's not your review, but I thought it would be cool to have these two go up against each other because people are going to ask, how do they pair with Mythic Legions or Figure Obscura? So we've shown bits and pieces of that. At the end of the day, I think it's fairly easy to see who wins this race. It is the Forgotten King over Dracula. Dracula does come with an additional head sculpt, but yeah, the gravestone, the magic pieces, the staff with the two different add-ons, and the 4 sets of hands. Forgotten King, I just love the detail on the headdress itself. He's an awesome original character. Dracula is very cool, and I can't wait to get the retail version, but I think this one slides out. I'm going to give the Forgotten King 4.25 out of 5, and that is for the translucent version. We'll compare them as translucent figures. I'm going to go 3.75 for Dracula. I was edging a little lower, but he does have the additional face sculpt. I think the blood pool stand was a nice touch, and he's got much better detailing on the body in the red translucent. Overall, I think these are very neat exclusives. Not essential unless you're completely 1000 all in with Fresh Monkey or Fresh Monkey Operation Monster Force, which many of you probably are. Would I have picked these up if I wasn't at JOEFEST? I don't know. That's a really, it's hard to answer that. I would want to see reviews. It's hard to gauge, because they're just translucent figures. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review in the battle of Operation Monster Force, the Forgotten King versus Dracula. And I cannot wait until these hit retail, which will be fairly soon, just over a month or so. Maybe we're looking at another 5 weeks minimum, maybe 6 or 7 if things happen. But shout out to Big Bad, shout out to Fresh Monkey Fiction. Met a lot of cool people. Chris from Grindhouse Toys, Bill, of course, and looking forward to talking with them more about what Fresh Monkey has in the future. They killed it with the reveals, and the retail versions of their figures look amazing in person. With that, guys, it's Trav Moody. I'm out of here. I hope you dug the review. Please leave a like and subscribe. Till then, I'll catch you guys in the toy aisle or at Comic-Con in San Diego. I'll be there. More details to come on that. Peace. That's what I call deluxe packaging.